and gentlemen, please rise for the England anthem! We came here for the football, we came here for the beer. We came to watch the Three Lions, not another speech this year. The pints cost £7 now, the train was running late. The hotel cost a month's wage, but we're here to tempt our fate. The referee's a nightmare, the defence can't find the ball. The striker missed from 2 yards out, yet this unites us all. Starmer is a wanker, the whole stand sings along. From Newcastle to Wembley, everybody knows the song. Starmer is a wanker, hear the terraces roar. The football might be shocking, but the chanting's world for sure. The weather's gone to rubbish, the kebab was undercooked. The VR took 20 minutes just to see what everyone looked. The captain's lost possession, the midfield's gone to sleep. Yet somehow all the travelling fans still find a tune to keep. The scoreboard says we're struggling, the nerves are running high. Then somebody starts the chorus and the mood begins to fly. Starmer is a wanker, wave your flags up high. The Germans think we're mental, and honestly they're right. Starmer is a wanker, echoing through the stands. It's the only thing all England fans can agree on. We've argued over Brexit, we've argued left and right, we've argued over penalties for nearly every night. But put us in a stadium with 40,000 pints, and suddenly we're all together for 90 glorious minutes. Southgate's gone, the rain pours down, the match has gone astray. The nation needs a miracle, or maybe just a replay. Starmer is a wanker, the anthem of the day, sung by every England fan from Dover to the Tyne today. Starmer is a wanker, the final whistle blows. England somehow win on pens, and nobody knows. What's the score? No idea. Who scored? Couldn't tell you. What do you remember? Starmer is a Starmer is a wanker!
He sure is a wanker. I like starting with that one. You get everyone in there. Okay, I'm going to be doing a lot on what's going on in Britain, but other stuff in the news too. It's unbelievable what's going on in Britain. I'll be talking more about that soon, though. Here we go. I'll do that next clip here.
Islam is taking over Europe faster than you think. France is already nearly 10% Muslim, Sweden over 8%, Germany and UK around 7%. and integration is going absolutely fantastic. In the UK, only 51% of working-age Muslims have a job. Across France, Germany, and Sweden, unemployment and welfare rates are triple the native average. Over 50% of young Muslims in Europe say they want Sharia over local law. Crimes are a real threat too. Sexual assaults in Sweden up over 1,000% since the 1970s. In Germany, just 7% of the population accounts for nearly 40% of sexual assaults. Now add the birth gap. Native European women average 1.6 kids. Muslim immigrants, 2.6. By 2050, Sweden could hit 30% Muslims. France and the UK, near 18%. And those numbers explode by 2100. If the wars in the Middle East stop, we're looking at you, US and Israel, and AI kills the demand for immigrant labor, this might slow down. Or is it already too late for Europe?
With the birth rates, it might be too late. I don't know. We definitely got to have more kids. That's for sure.
This is a huge blow to this LA homeless authority. It's called LAHSA. They just were informed within the last hour that they are losing these tens of millions of dollars. They've gotten almost over $1 billion since 2021 in federal taxpayer funding. Now they're going to lose it as this investigation goes underway. This is from the White House Fraud Task Force in coordination with Housing and Urban Development. This is a 13-page letter that we obtained exclusively sent to this agency. According to the letter, LAHSA's received, as I said, $1 billion from HUD since 2021. The letter goes on quickly to point out that LA County has withdrawn funding for the agency. The city of LA is considering the same. The letter continues. HUD has evidence that LAHSA's repeated false statements and its irresponsible actions and failures, including its lack of financial management, internal controls, and safeguards against conflicts of interest, pose a threat to HUD, the public, and those living on the streets of LA.
Unbelievable. You wouldn't believe what he did today. I'll talk more about it later, but basically, he wants to shut down all the social media pretty much and control it, except for Blue Sky. You're allowed to be on Blue Sky, and for anyone under 16, you can't be on social media other than Blue Sky for a period. And they're going to come after more people and start arresting them for what they're posting. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let me, I'll talk more about it in a little bit. This is the Iranian people here. They want to be armed.
Please arm the Iranian people.
They'd overthrow their government if they're armed, but you got to give them the right arms. That's for sure.
It all started. Check it out.
We are no longer a Christian nation.
We do not consider ourselves a Christian nation.
The United States has been enriched by Muslim Americans. Since our founding, American Muslims have enriched the United States. Islam has always been a part of America's story. There is a mosque in every state in our union and over 1,200 mosques within our borders. Let there be no doubt, Islam is a part of America.
This man is actually declaring that America is no longer a Christian nation. What does this world come to, man? What does this nation come to? I mean, he's literally telling us the Muslims are going to take over. Literally telling us right to our face, right on national TV.
Let me finish my message here. Crystal wanted me to thank you all for being so kind. A lot of platforms she's been on, that she gets attacked more than anything. So I'll finish that message in a minute there. Let me go on to the next one.
So you guys remember when Hakeem Jeffries said this?
Earlier in the week, you told me that there is no election fraud happening in California and that anyone who questions the outcome of the election is a conspiracy theorist. However, there are now homeless people on Skid Row admitting they were bribed with cash, drugs, other incentives to vote Democrat in elections. Does that change your stance at all?
Listen, I'm unfamiliar with those reports, and I wouldn't be surprised if those are part of some far-right conspiracy theory.
Yeah, you guys want to tell...
The sound cut out? What the heck? I didn't turn it down. Let me try backing that up.
Far-right conspiracy theory.
Yeah, you guys want to tell?
Oh, it's on his video. Well, so he was showing the cash being handed over, basically. What was going on? Okay. All right, let me go with the next one.
Why are Americans destroying this mass surveillance system? That is a flock safety camera. It's an artificial intelligence automated license plate reader. I've reported on Flock before, and if there's one thing people in the comments can agree on, it's their hatred of this. That's because at least 90,000 Flock cameras across 6,000 communities read over 20 billion plates per month. All that information then gets uploaded into a giant shared database, which can be accessed by law enforcement and government agencies. And no surprise, this raises a slew of issues. Like one Ohio man pulled over accused of stolen plates, attacked by police dogs, and jailed because Flock read the 7 on his plates as a 2. Or the Colorado woman accused of stealing a package and treated as guilty until proven innocent because Flock caught her driving 20 times in 1 month. Then there's the Arkansas couple that had a Flock camera pointed right at their house, putting
That's regulating how many times you can drive in a month. That's where we're going.
Them and their guests under constant warrantless surveillance. And not to perpetuate stereotypes, but multiple cops and police chiefs have accessed Flock hundreds of times to stalk their exes and current partners. But don't worry, you can stalk people too, because Flock cameras are hackable in under 30 seconds. They can be turned into a personal spy device, run on an Android operating system discontinued in 2021, and didn't even have two-factor authentication until it recently came out that they didn't. YouTuber Ben Jordan even found 51 vulnerabilities with Flock and said accessing them is so easy, 12-year-olds could do it. We don't condone the destruction of Flock cameras, but we're also not surprised the public has reached their boiling point. One Virginia man now faces 19 felonies and 6 misdemeanors for destroying 13 cameras over 6 months. In Michigan, police used Flock to catch this guy who caused about 10 grand in damage to cameras. And Oregon vandals / patriots, depending who you ask, cut down 9 Flock cameras, leaving some with colorfully worded stickers. Flock cameras in California, Connecticut, and Illinois have also been destroyed. So, did Americans take notes from Britain's Blade Runners?
Yeah, they've been cutting them down for a while, but they keep putting them back up. Of course, you're paying for them. Here's Islam, the real Islam.
In the Quran, chapter number 9, verse number 29, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the Muslims to kill the Christians, Jews, and if they do not surrender, then they have to pay jizya. Jizya is basically
and go pee up a rope.
Protection money. Jizya is a tax. In the time of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, and after him, when Islam was spreading and the Muslim government was spreading and the Islamic State was spreading, so wherever there were Jews and Christians and people who were not believers, for them there was a rule that they have to pay this tax. Since in Islam, according to the Islamic rules, they will be free to worship whoever they want. They will be free, they will have free movement to worship their God. They will be able to build churches. They will be able to build their religious institutes. However,
I have a friend in Indonesia, and what's happening there is they're burning down some of the churches, and when they burn them down, they're not allowed to rebuild them.
They will have to pay some tax.
And there's very few churches to start with. That's real Islam.
Welcome to Hamas Math. If Hamas fires rockets from a roof of a school, and then Israel fires back to destroy those rocket launchers, Hamas can blame the destruction of the school on Israel. Hamas Math. If the IDF calls, texts, and sends leaflets to Palestinian civilians warning them to leave areas that are not safe, and then Hamas lies and tells their civilians to ignore those warnings, Hamas can blame any civilian death on Israel. Hamas Math. Building a network of terror tunnels 350 miles long instead of a single safe room in Gaza so that you can get away with terror while blaming Israel for not protecting civilians. Hamas Math. If Israel kills a terrorist who just so happens to be wearing a press vest, Hamas can blame Israel for targeting journalists. Hamas Math. When genocidal terrorists enter into Israel and commit an act of genocide against Israelis, Hamas will blame Israel for genocide when it retaliates. Hamas math. If Hamas proposes its own terms for a ceasefire and publicly accepts, they can accuse Israel as being the obstacle to peace. Hamas math. If Israel sends in 300,000 tons of aid to Gaza, but Hamas steals it for themselves and sells it back to Palestinians while price gouging them, they can accuse Israel of creating famine. Hamas math.
All right, this is a 15-year-old in Britain. A little 15-year-old boy. Watch this. He's the one getting arrested when he was being attacked by the illegals, basically. Watch what they're doing to him. I got more. He's going to talk about these protesters.
I can't believe what I've just seen here, guys. Watch this again. It's going to come back around the tape. Someone's just sent this to me and asked me how to look at it. And I'm just looking at this guy is in a very, very critical condition after the police grabbed hold of him and threw his head, which hit off the bollard. If you watch it again, when it comes back round, look at the bollard. It actually bends over and he breaks the bollard pretty much. So the full force, imagine the force of his head. There. That's absolutely disgusting. I'm going to go past it one more time because I can't believe, I mean, I'm not being funny. You know, no one should be treated like that wherever you're from, but you never see anti-protesters get treated by the police like this. It's only ever patriots. I'm going to go over that side there, look. Why has that copper come back for him? Okay, right, if you want to push him away, force him away from the situation, that's fine. You've pushed him back, the first copper has, but the other coppers come steaming towards him. And even it looks like one of the guys, I don't know whether he's a sergeant or whatever, taps him on the back and tells him to move away. So they know he's seriously injured as well because they've all gone around him. Look, why there? You didn't need to do that. And then just thrown him. That's not good, man. And look, and he's been told tap there to move out of the way. Guys, this is like typical. This is complete like police overreach. I can't believe. I don't know if there's anyone that can tell me if they think that's acceptable. I'm not being funny. That to me, that's look. Now it doesn't need to do that. It doesn't need to come and grab him from behind. The first one had dealt with it, pushed him back. You could see him in front of him and left it at that. For me, that's too much. Don't know what you guys think, but that's too much for me.
Okay, here's an illegal who tries to kidnap a little tiny white girl.
I'm following you.
Why are you fucking stalking him, bro?
Are you okay? Do you know him?
He was trying to kidnap her.
And has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for this comment on Facebook.
You wrote, because they're over here, given life of Riley off the tax us hard-working people earn when it could be put to better use. Come over here with no work visa, no trade to their name, and then there's more people being put out homeless.
Well, this is about censoring too. They're going to be censored and sent to jail. Watch this judge. He's got a board up his butt, I think.
Each year, they get top band priority on housing. You went on to say that.
So telling the truth gets you have to go to jail for it.
That you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, are kids and get priority, end quote. Although you said that you had no intention of carrying out any act of violence, there can be no doubt that you were inciting others to do so.
There can be no doubt that you were inciting violence for literally just saying objectively true statements.
Yep. Why don't we go with Steve here?
This country has ever seen. The reason why those Americans in North Carolina, those mothers, those fathers, those precious little children were left to die, were left on rooftops begging their government for help that never came, is because Kamala Harris turned FEMA into an illegal alien resettlement agency. Its manpower, its dollars, its resources, its mental energy was spent over the last 4 years learning how to do one thing, how to get illegal aliens from outside the country into your town. And so when disaster struck, they were not ready, they were not prepared, they were not capable, and they did not care. And our fellow citizens, including babies, children, young kids, were left to suffer and drown. They did not scramble the helicopters. They did not scramble the military. They did not send needed assistance.
You know where all that FEMA money was going? To DEI projects. DEI projects. It wasn't going to the people that were harmed.
But if those children had been living in a foreign country, they've been living in Haiti, or they've been living in Venezuela, why then Kamala Harris would have sent in help immediately. A betrayal like we've never seen before, Sean. This is infuriating.
Two Seattle blacks attack a 77-year-old man.
We've got two thugs walking around in Seattle as indicated by this red circle. Walking toward them here is a 77-year-old man seemingly minding his own business. Somehow these two future doctors mutually come to the conclusion that they should attack this guy. The man was hospitalized and suffered a broken arm, broken knee, facial injuries, and I'm sure is traumatized. Why would they do this? Who the hell knows? From all that I've read, it doesn't seem like they stole anything from this guy. Just two low IQ, impulsive savages who shouldn't be on the streets. Would you be shocked to learn that the guy arrested has a criminal history?
You got the wrong person. You got the wrong person? Yes. I work for the state. You work for the state?
You know Katie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know Katie.
The mayor.
Yeah.
That's it. That's almost it. That's my last one. Is your camera?
Yeah.
That's it. That's almost it.
So the guy that attacked, one of the two guys that attacked the 77-year-old guy worked for the mayor.
No, you're being audio and video recorded, just so you know, man.
Yes, sir. Right. I respect that. I respect the law. I respect the police.
Back to the mayor in a second. The guy arrested, the great respecter of the law and the police, was released from jail 2 days later and didn't show up to court when he was supposed to. So now he's missing. Fine work as usual from our criminal justice system. And I just want to point out that after the old man was attacked, exactly 0 people came to his aid. Great society we got, huh? Now about that mayor, Katie, the socialist. She doesn't want security cameras in the city, you know, like the one that was able to detect what happened here.
SPD has deployed more than 60 of these to crime hotspots. They've recorded other violent crimes here on 3rd Avenue, including this assault and the horrific attack on 75-year-old Jeanette Markin, who was struck in the eye by a man who was wielding a board with a bolt through the end of it.
We also have to be very careful to make sure that our data storage, security, sharing practices don't make that system vulnerable to misuse and abuse, whether that's by federal immigration enforcement or by other bad actors.
But you know,
you couldn't get ICE to come and deport some of these people. No.
But she doesn't really want to talk about that, okay?
People in that community who are concerned that there's been rising gun violence and that there should be more surveillance cameras and that kind of thing. That's obviously been an issue that you weighed in on. Does that change it? Does that change your perspective at all?
Let's keep it on. Yeah, let's keep it on the topic.
But does that change your perspective at all?
So we, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Do you want to answer that?
She's about to answer the question, though. Okay. I mean, it looks worse when you jump in like that. I'm sorry, I specifically said to keep it on topic today. Okay. But I also have to ask the questions that people want to have answered. Maybe we can set up a different time for that.
Wilson is allowing new cameras to be installed at Pioneer Square ahead of the FIFA World Cup games, but they won't be turned on unless the city determines there's a credible threat.
They don't want the cameras turned on because you might catch illegals. All right, here's a German tourist guide carrying his own German flag, and they go after him for that. Their own cops. Now remember, this is a German cop going after a German person who's given a tour guide of the thing for carrying the German flag in Germany. It might cause hurty feelings for all the illegals.
Wir gehen nur vom Bahnhof dahin. Jetzt, wie gesagt, eine Möglichkeit. Und ob ich jetzt die Fahne da habe oder ob ich da einen Schuh dran habe, damit die Gruppe weiß, wo ich bin. Nee, das müssen sie mir überlassen. Und ich laufe in meinem Land mit meiner Flagge so lange rum und wo ich will, mache ich mit. Fassen Sie mich nicht an! Fassen Sie mich nicht an! Fassen Sie mich nicht nochmal!
So he's going to be under arrest for carrying a German flag. He's using it to do a tour, so they're supposed to follow him with the German flag. Yeah, if she has any kids.
Nein, ich bleib nicht stehen, weil wenn ich die Fahne wegnehme, dann ist es spät, dann liegen mindestens 3 Mann drin.
So somehow in your country it's illegal to carry your flag. That's coming to America. I couldn't believe it either, Tammy. They're making it in all the European countries pretty much that way. Coming to America, that's actually happened in Canada too. I say we got to raise our birth rates and keep the illegals out. Coming to America. All right, here's Robinson there, Tommy Robinson. They obtained him. They were going to arrest him. They took his devices and were checking his devices to see what was on it. This is England doing this to him for no other reason than to harass him and try not to have these protests.
This is the moment, a turning point for Britain, a message to the leaders. Britain's ready for the fight. Right? People are up. We're awake. We're not going to back down. We want our country back.
They detained him. They were trying to arrest him, find an excuse to arrest him. They took all his electronic devices from him. Unreal. Luckily, one of his friends brought it back up, type thing. It's unreal to me. All right, here's about a Muslim migrant butcher rapes and murders 92-year-old.
A growing debate now about whether the man charged with murdering a 92-year-old woman in Queens should have ever been in the country. Eyewitness News reporter Candace McCowan has a story from Kew Gardens.
A 92-year-old woman.
Federal officials say that this tragedy could have been avoided if New York wasn't a sanctuary city. ICE saying that the suspect...
Bingo! Shouldn't have been here in the first place. Should have been deported a long time ago.
Should have been deported back in November when he was accused of assaulting his father.
Oh my God. How could you do this to a lady that old?
The family of 92-year-old Maria Fuertes devastated that someone could be so heartless to assault and rape their elderly mother. And now federal officials saying the suspect, Reza Khan, is a Guyanese national in the country illegally. ICE saying they asked for Khan to be held so that he could be deported back in November after Khan was arrested, accused of stabbing his father with a broken coffee cup. ICE saying NYPD did not honor their request because New York is a sanctuary city. Just last week, prosecutors say Khan threw 92-year-old Maria Fuertes to the ground and sexually assaulted her. Fuertes later died. ICE now pointing the finger at New York City, saying it was a deadly choice.
How much you want to bet he's on the welfare system and not working?
to release a man on an active ICE detainer onto the streets after his first arrest included assault and weapons charges, and now he faces new charges, including murder. Fuertes' family members left heartbroken.
She was a good soul, a kind soul, harmless soul. Wouldn't do that to anybody.
NYPD says they never received the request to hold Khan. City policy only turning over those who've been convicted of violent crimes. A spokesperson for Mayor de Blasio swinging back at federal authorities, saying if Mr. Khan is convicted, the city will cooperate with federal officials in a...
Oh, geez, they should have cooperated him a long time ago and let him ICE take him. Now, I started playing this the other night, last night when Crystal was on, and I should have played the whole thing. I'm going to play the whole thing about immigration. There's a law firm that Trump's people are going after, and they're taking them down.
A bomb just exploded in the immigrant community, and fear is everywhere. Here's why. The largest immigration law firm in the United States, boom, just shut down. And why? Investigation for fraud. What was the fraud? Well, the attorney who owned the firm, her name is Alexandra Lozano. She specialized in visas for victims of domestic violence, victims of human trafficking, and the feds and also clients were investigating, and there was a civil lawsuit alleging that she was purposely faking affidavits, creating stories to get people visas, specifically a lot of people who entered without visas so that they could fix their status here in the United States. Why is this a big deal? Well, there's a few more firms who have the same business model who, guess what, are also under investigation. So it's crazy because think about it, $1 billion per year worth of immigrants were hiring this law firm.
Hey, man.
And now doors are shut. Money is trapped. People want refunds. People are terrified of getting deported. And a lot of these immigrants,
they should be terrified. Bye-bye.
What information was included on their applications. So what's going to happen? We'll just have to wait and find out. However, it is possible if you can get a copy of your file and you're with this firm, you can have an immigration lawyer review it, see what information was accurate, if there was incorrect information, and you may be able to try to notify immigration about the incorrect information, or you may be a witness in this lawsuit, or if the feds bring criminal charges against Alexandra Lozano, you could actually help the feds testify and provide information about how you are a victim. So, yeah, it's a crazy time to be an immigrant, and it's a crazy time to be an immigration lawyer.
All right, this is a crazy one, guys. So this law firm ended up being one of the biggest immigration law firms in the United States. And what they did was they imported people here on visas, roughly 80,000 people plus they were able to bring over here. And they were qualifying them for visas for things like Violence Against Women Act, U visas for crime victims, T visas for human trafficking victims. But the thing was, it was fake. If you look, they have lawsuits that were filed in federal court that say that they were alleging fraudulent practices, fabricating, exaggerating abuse claims, which means they were just saying these women were victims of abuse to qualify them for visas and then bring them into the United States. They were filing ineligible applications, pressuring clients to sign blank documents, and then charging $15,000. I mean, that's just nuts. So what they did was they were able to just, the guy who founded the law firm was able to just resign. And him resigning means that he was able to avoid disciplinary action by the Washington State Bar Association.
All part of the plan. Oh, I'm glad they shut that down. This is about Starmer and the Labor Party reportedly considering overnight social media. It's an AI thing. So they're coming after him for social media.
Wind down the window. Do you know why I pulled you over?
Because we were going too fast, officer.
No. How old are you, lad?
17.
Right, I'm going to need to look at your phone.
I can see here you made a comment on Facebook at 9:45 p.m. which says, Nan, I will be home a little later tonight.
I didn't be listening, you know?
You have breached the social media curfew. I am placing you under arrest.
I didn't do anything wrong!
Alan Bryman, you
So now they're starting to do the social media curfews too and stuff.
have been found guilty of breaching the social media curfew by accessing Facebook after curfew hours.
Oh, but if you can go on after that time, if it's on Blue Sky only. Blue Sky gets a pass. That's the only one. Blue Sky.
And sending a message to your Nan. I hereby sentence you to 10 years and 4 months. Take him down.
That's how he comes out after 10 years. Unbelievable. All right, this is an actual, what they're doing to preachers, like Christian preachers on the street and stuff like that, or any person in London now, or England at all. This is what they're doing to them. Now, if you're Muslim and praying on the streets, that's fine. But you better not be Christian. There's actual laws against Christians saying you can't even sing Christian songs outside in England anymore.
Please, if you give my details, that basically means I don't have my grounds of arrest, which is code G. If you don't give me your name and address, I have grounds to arrest you. Google it, it's code of practice.
I'm being reasonable with you, sir. Okay. Before I give my details, I'd just like to ask some questions. Is that okay?
Is it in relation to this?
Absolutely. That's what
okay. So before we get to the questions, can I just get your details and then we'll go there?
So what I said before is before I give my details, I'd like to ask you some questions because I don't understand what's happening.
Okay. What do you need to understand?
Thank you. So you referred to there being a hate crime, right?
Okay. I only have to tell you there's an allegation. I don't have to tell you exactly what it is.
There's an allegation of a hate crime.
Of an allegation that someone's felt alarm, distress in a public place.
Public place, okay.
Okay.
So,
in a public place.
Okay, so someone felt the section that's the harassment, alarm,
and distress.
And distress.
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, I have to go find out the exact facts.
Thank you.
And so on. So you're not giving me an opportunity to do that right now.
No, you keep interrupting when I'm talking. So I allowed you to speak.
You're not.
Yeah. So you finished, or can I speak?
You can speak.
Thank you. Yeah. So before I give my details, I just want to understand clearly what's happening. So you're saying that someone from the member of the public has called you, saying that they have received harassment, alarm, and distress because of a hate crime. Is that what you're saying?
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to quote them in exact words?
Huh?
Are you trying to quote them in exact words?
I'm understanding what's happening.
Okay, let me clarify.
Thank you.
Let me clarify. I have not met the victim.
Okay, you've not met them.
Like I said, I've spoken to them on the phone. Okay, I don't have to disclose my investigation.
I never said you did. I never said you did.
I don't have to disclose the full allegation.
I never said you did, sir.
Right now, I still need to establish the full facts of offences.
That's right. I just want to know for myself.
Right now, there's an allegation. Based on the current allegation, I'm telling you, I am going to go do my investigation.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask one more time. Are you going to give your name and
I am going to give you my details.
Do you have ID with you as well?
I'm going to give you my details.
Thank
Now, sir, what I'm trying to understand before I give my details is that, like I was saying, so someone called you reporting harassment, alarm, and distress.
So let's clarify. Someone's called us.
Okay, wait.
People call us because they obviously have.
So wait.
So I am going to.
1 second. I'm speaking.
So they're going after him. The hate crime was saying something Christian. Ugh. Unbelievable.
The government has literally exempted itself from the rules that they're trying, the laws that they're trying to force on us. The fucking parasites, the MPs, the lords, the civil servants that have all voted for the Online Safety Act, the fucking Data Use and Access Act, all of this dystopian legislation that's forcing us to live in this digital dystopia, they are literally exempt from it. And if this doesn't make you really, really fucking angry, I don't know what will. Now, I wasn't going to do anything because I meant to be healing and focusing on my cancer and getting my law studies done. But I am so fucking furious about this, and I've had to write it down so I can share it all with you. I'm absolutely furious. Now, it's a really good thing that I'm a fucking law student now. They'll never let me practice. I already know that now. And that's absolutely fine. I've got other fucking plans, but I want to let you all know that this screening, this checking people's messages, this screening all the messages, all the photos, the fact that they want us to be transparent to them, they become more opaque to us. That's not just a saying, it's actually true. And you need to know the laws that they use that make them exempt from what they're forcing on us, the people. One of the acts is the Investigatory Powers Act, the divine right of MPs. While the state gives intelligence agencies sweeping powers to intercept, hack, and harvest the public's data, they built a golden shield for politicians. Under the law, Section 26 of the IPA, this section explicitly creates provisions for the protection of members of relevant legislatures. Under this law, a standard law enforcement or intelligence agency cannot touch an MP's data. A warrant to intercept a politician's communications can only be issued if the Prime Minister personally approves and signs off on it in writing. Keir fucking Starmer. The reality is, while the public's data is subjected to a mass bulk warrants and algorithm-driven scanning, politicians granted themselves a personal prime ministerial veto. And then there's the Online Safety Act. New legislation they've built in protections to for them as well, bypassing the digital dragnet. The highly controversial push for client-side scanning, forcing tech companies to scan your private messages on your phone before they're encrypted, does not apply to the state. MPs, lords, civil servants, the lot of them. Under Schedule 1. The Act explicitly states that
it's probably so they can get away with stealing from you.
Sweeping content moderation and surveillance duties does not apply to internal business resources or services used by public bodies. The official communication tools, right, servers and channels used by secretaries of state, MPs, ministers, and civil servants are statutorily exempt from the intrusive scanning regimes forced onto public platforms like WhatsApp and Signal. I think you've probably all seen the Signal statement. If you're interested in this at all, everybody needs to be. Your private life becomes completely transparent to state scrutiny, while the inner workings of the government operations remain entirely opaque. I'm so fucking angry. I'm not even shocked. The ministerial Henry VIII veto, Henry VIII powers, guys, basically means they can make and change on law, like any law. They can just change legislation at a whim. That's called Henry VIII powers for a reason. It's dictating the rules at will. The system is literally rigged. So that if the government official ever feels, one person, one Secretary of State, if they ever feel threatened by a surveillance clause, they can simply rewrite the law without a parliamentary vote. The Henry VIII powers embedded within the Online Safety Act. The Act grants the Secretary of State secondary legislative powers to alter, amend, or exempt new categories of digital services via statutory instruments. A government minister possesses the personal unchecked authority to carve out further executive exemptions for themselves and their allies behind closed doors, completely bypassing the democratic oversight. Fucking can't believe it, honestly, the democratic oversight of the House of Commons debate. And then there's the Wilson Doctrine, which is codifying this dual standard. What began as a constitutional convention in 1966 has been weaponized in the digital age to ensure the ruling class remains entirely unmonitored. So the Wilson Doctrine establishes that the police and security services are completely banned from tapping, tracking or snooping on members of parliament or peers. The ones that you need to be watching, the parasites and the paedophiles and the paedophile protectors. Modern surveillance statutes have actively codified this doctrine into law. It ensures that the very individuals voting to strip you of your digital privacy, just complete privacy, are constitutionally and legally protected from ever experiencing the consequences of their own votes. So at the end of the day, this is the textbook definition of legislative tyranny. And by the way, this has been in the making for hundreds of years. Anyone that thinks that this is just, we've been co-opted by globalists in the last 10, 5, 20 years. I'm sorry, guys. The system was absolutely built for this right now over, what, an 800-year period? We've got to stop thinking that we've just been co-opted at some point. It was built for this. A democratic society functions on the principle that the state is transparent to the people and the people remain private from the state. The UK has completely inverted this doctrine, and by law, the state is actively turning your smartphone into an informant that scans your text messages, photos, and private thoughts before encryption can protect them. Meanwhile, the politicians, the parasites, the Secretary of State, and the elite bureaucrats have legally declared their own devices to be sacred, untouchable, and completely opaque. They know exactly how dangerous and invasive this technology is, which is precisely why they've passed explicit laws to ensure that they are completely exempt from it. I predict a riot. If you're not absolutely fuming that what people are telling you is the truth, that we are speeding towards, within weeks and months, speeding towards a complete digital dystopia, a panopticon, a gulag, literally, you need to wake up. People, you need to wake up. People have been warning actually about this for decades, to be fair. Myself and others campaigned against the Online Harms Bill at the time, which is now the Online Safety Act, which is a prelude to all of this. We've been telling you for the longest time, and people need to be really, really angry because they are completely exempt from the laws that they are trying to force on us, that they vote for. And that's why they love it so much as well. I am so angry that we've let it get to this point, and then there's still some people that seriously think, by the way, the 29th of July is a deadline for the Secretary of State to update Parliament, House of Commons, PM on their progress that they're making on the under-16s ban. By the end of 2026 is when they want that completely rolled out.
Now, under 16, they won't be able to see any of this stuff except for Blue Sky. They can see that, the socialist one. The one socialist one they can see.
For everybody to access social media and the internet. We do not have until 2029 to vote our way out. We cannot vote our way out of tyranny, people. We just can't. So we need to do something, and we need to be really creative. And I'm not inciting anything, but for 6 years, I've really tried. We've got to change it up. We've got to do something.
Oh, yeah, they've got themselves in so deep, it's ridiculous. All right, here's a liberal. Watch this.
We are unfortunately running out of time, but Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Not particularly, and if there are some I don't like, I certainly wouldn't want them banned. But it always goes back to that old adage: sticks and stones may break my bones, but there will always be something to offend a feminist.
Peter Lloyd.
No, that's just obnoxious.
Peter Lloyd,
you have to give me a chance. That is ridiculous. No, hang on, I won't do your show again if you don't let me respond to that.
She got a little mad.
You've now probably heard political experts over and over refer to the fact that what we're witnessing is a color revolution. And they're right. And let me explain why. A color revolution is a communist globalist playbook to take over a country without tanks actually rolling down Main Street. It's how they flipped places like Serbia, Georgia, Ukraine, and they tried to flip a dozen others. The same exact playbook every single time. This is how they do it. 1, they demonize the leader of the people who they actually voted for. 2, they flood the country with chaos like riots, open borders, economic pain. 3, they weaponize the courts, the media, and big tech to finish him off. And 4, they install a puppet who sells the country out to China and the UN. And that's not theory, that's the manual. They opened it on us in the United States the day Donald Trump won in 2016. And here's how they ran it on us step by step. From 2016 to 2020, they gave us the Russia collusion hoax, FBI spying, 2 fake impeachments, Antifa burning cities while CNN called it fiery but mostly peaceful. And the goal was to make you hate the guy you voted for. In 2020, we had 2 a.m. ballot dumps, boarded up windows, 51 Intel agents lying about Hunter's laptop, Zuckerberg dropping $400 million to help count votes in Democrat cities. And the goal there was to steal the election while calling you a conspiracy theorist for noticing. From 2021 to 2024, we had Joe Biden opening the border on day one, 12 million plus illegals, military-age men from China and Venezuela and all over the world, free flights, free hotels, free EBT cards, all on your dime. Cities collapse, crime explodes, schools and hospitals break. The goal, to make Americans feel like strangers in their own country. Then from 2021 to 2025, 91 felony charges, Mar-a-Lago raided, gag orders, mug shots. They didn't want to just beat Trump. They wanted to break him and every future patriot who dares to run. Look at what they did to Charlie Kirk. That is a textbook color revolution. But on November 5th, 2024, the American people looked this Marxist coup dead in the eye and said, not today. 312 electoral votes, popular vote landslide, the biggest Hispanic and Black Republican turnout ever. We pulled off the greatest peaceful counter-revolution in world history. But the deep state isn't done. The same snakes who funded BLM riots, Ukraine coup, and Arab Spring still sit in the FBI, CIA, big tech, and the universities. They'll try again in 2026 or in 2028, but now you know the game. Every time you see another mostly peaceful riot, sudden experts all using the same scripted words, a new crisis 2 weeks before an election, you're watching the Color Revolution playbook live on American soil. Never forget what they tried to do to us. Back mass deportations. If we have no border, we have no country. Protect every America First fighter willing to swing the axe on the swamp. Teach your kids the truth. Communism didn't die in 1991. It just dyed its hair purple and moved to Washington. This is still the United States of America. We are still the home of the brave, and the brave do not bow to color revolutions. Recognize what is happening. Stare it in the face, speak out against it, and then we finish taking our country back, one closed border, one drained swamp, and one restored republic at a time. We need to support our president in taking all necessary measures to do just that. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Amen. All right, this dude, black guy, knives and terrorized the Ohio family, screaming in the name of Allah.
Just after 1 a.m. on Easter Sunday, a man knelt in the driveway of a Franklin Township home, his head to the ground. The family inside had no idea he was there. It could happen on any street, in any neighborhood you think is safe. Tiffany Miller heard it first.
They were pounding, and I noticed the door was not, the bottom part was not locked, and seeing that it was a black male standing there with something in his hand.
Miller called 911. The plan, stay inside until help arrives. Then her daughter pulled into the driveway.
We knew our daughter would just get out of the car and come right in, and we were too afraid that the guy was going to do something to her.
Miller's husband went outside to confront the man, later identified as Anthony Long.
Hey, bud, knock on the door. I'll kill you in the name of Allah.
Within feet of each other, Miller says Long was holding a 3 to 4.
If he didn't catch it, he said he came in the name of Allah.
Inch knife.
Okay. Allah snake mark. He's going to kill him in the name of Allah.
Camping. Go.
That's when you need your gun.
Go.
Their daughter escaped,
like
but Long wasn't done. Court documents show he then followed a different driver for several months.
All in the name of Allah. All right, here's another incident, very similar. He just starts beating on a woman. If he had a knife, he probably would have killed her. Absolutely would have. I don't know. It's pretty bad.
And that's how this works. These guys need that voting bloc. They need the Muslim votes. They pack an area with Muslims. You've seen this happen. You're watching it happen in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, in Dearborn. You are seeing this happen. They bring them in, they pack them in. They put up mosques to facilitate them. In flows the funding. Suddenly you've got mosques putting funding in and an imam that's in charge of a densely packed population. Now they have political power. People are going to vote according to what the imam tells them to do. They are voting according to religion instead of any policy or political belief. It's why we have the Islam Party in Belgium. Their policies are segregation on buses, halal and face covering. They even won a couple seats. This is where we're headed. And when they come to mobilize in future time, when this conflict ramps up as it surely will, the mosques are where these people will mobilize from.
Bring your gun.
Do not mistake mosques for churches. Yeah. They are not places of worship. They are places of organization and mobilization.
It's about the Irish here. This one's shocking.
When I was still 14, Andrea took me to the promenade in the town where we met the Pakistani kebab house workers, and then 5 or 6 of them gang raped me. I knew 3 of them from the kebab house, but the others I'd never met before. There were 3 kebab houses in the town, and they all knew each other, and they linked up when they raped me. They were all linked. We were trafficked to Telford, Hereford and Blackpool. I was 14 and 15 during this period when I was raped and trafficked regularly. My mum was so happy that I'd found friends, but she had no idea what was going on.
Just as I'd found in Rotherham and Rochdale, the gangs of abusers used the boyfriend model of exploitation to lure in their victims.
While my abusers threatened, raped and violated me, they were also kind, but it would change. They called us gory girls, white bitches, white slags. When I eventually got my police records back, there are 200 to 300 pages about how I'd been strangled, threatened with a knife, someone was sent to petrol bomb my house.
That's exactly in Iran that when they were using them. And that was protecting them from being bombing the mosque. They'd store their weapons in there.
I was raped over 1,000 times and I don't even know how many men assaulted me. It was just a thing that happened to us, and it might sound crazy, but it was just normal. It felt normal. It's all we knew.
Emily's suffering represents one story in a much wider pattern of abuse. This crisis was not isolated to a few towns. It had swept the country. Reports from Rotherham, Rochdale and Telford were joined by stories from dozens of other towns and cities.
Yep. Here's a leftist for you.
Meet Jude Walton, a professional social justice bureaucratic activist for the city of Ann Arbor in Michigan. She was raped and murdered by Ricky McCain during his second home invasion of the night. Now meet Nick Golden, an anti-racist anarchist far-left punk rock concert organizer. He was killed by a Latino who was shooting up an anti-racist and pro-LGBTQ concert. Now meet Emma Schaefer, a racial equality activist for multiple non-profits and
so it doesn't even protect the leftists from getting killed.
Intern for Democrat Senator Tammy Duckworth, who famously voted against the Lake and Riley Act, which allows America to detain non-citizens who commit drunk driving, burglary, larceny. Oh, and what's that other one? Oh, that's right. Any crime resulting in death or serious bodily injury. Well, this ends basically how you expect it to. Emma here was stabbed to death by her illegal alien Latino boyfriend, who ran back to Mexico after he committed the heinous act. Now we find ourselves in this really interesting predicament where the right wants him extradited back into the US so that he can face punishment for his actions, and the left don't want him to come back into the country so he doesn't face any punishment for his actions against one of their own.
That's one person they don't want deported back to America.
Odd world, isn't it? Finally, meet Jen Angel, an anti-racist anarchist, prison abolitionist, Antifa-connected far-left punk rock reporter. And she makes cupcakes too. Angel was robbed in her car by Ishmael Birch, but determined not to let him get away with it, she actually chased after him and got caught in the vehicle car door. Ishmael, not seeming to give a shit, drove for 50 feet, where her head eventually smashed against the sidewalk and she was put in,
believe it, in Iran, they burnt down more mosques than anywhere,
to a medically induced coma and declared dead 3 days later. Are you beginning to notice a pattern with these stories? People are switching off that side of their brain to virtue signal, the side of the brain that tells you, it warns you, that's different, that's scary, that person is acting incorrectly. You've switched it off because you don't want to seem like you're racist. I would rather you be racist and alive than virtue signal and be dead. Let's see if Jen Angel's friends learned from this. Well, her friends suggested that Jen wouldn't want her murderer to go to prison. See, they would rather try to get together to understand what drove this disgusting, evil, inhumane piece of shit to commit such a fatal robbery. It's a doozy, isn't it? A real head-scratcher. Now, these two quotes from Ocean Motley, Jen Angel's former partner, are some of the most incredibly racist things you'll ever hear. And they don't even realize it. So here's the first one. I don't know if Mr. Birch is involved or not, but he is a very young black man, 19 years old, who was 18 years old on the day Jen was killed. Stop the motion of the ocean right there, Ocean, because 18 years old means that he's a legal adult. So when does his accountability come into play? And why bring up the fact that he's a young black man? Why do that? Well, get ready, because here is my single favorite quote, possibly of all time. I don't know what it's like to be black, but I know what it's like to be young and poor and desperate and thinking I need to commit crimes in order to survive. Isn't that just an outstanding quote? That's how the left see black people. They're all poor and desperate, and they can't help but commit crimes. It's in their nature. Why are you mad at them for stabbing people? It's just what they do, and they shouldn't be held accountable, even if they're 18. Can you imagine, like, if I said that quote word for word, I would be fired. I would get my ass handed to me. Hell, I might even go to jail in my country. And imagine even a similar comment. Do it to another race. I don't know what it's like to be Indian, but I know what it's like to smell like shit. What's the difference? Anyway, the piece of shit murderer got 7 years, and Jen's family's only mildly okay with that. If that was my daughter, I would be fucking livid. We know that Jen would not want someone involved with her death, whether complicit or not. Far out. To waste away in prison for decades. You are kidding. This video honestly could have gone for a lot longer, and I'm probably going to make more videos on this topic soon enough, but I know I was laughing, and it seemed like I was having a lot of fun, but I'm not. Those people died. And it's not good, and I'm not the same people who cheer and laugh and dance when people I disagree with die. Like, it's sad. I think they needed help. Somebody needed to help them. And maybe it's because I am a Christian, but I believe Jesus can save everybody.
I hope so.
Even those that look most lost. And the only reason I sort of found humor before is because I get that they can say things that I can't, even if they're the exact same things. I do find that entertaining, but in all seriousness, rest in peace to these people. They had to learn a really powerfully shitty lesson. And I think we can all learn from the horrific things that they went through.
Anyways, here's a truth bomb for you.
Nithya Raman, a communist hell-bent on destroying
This gets funny, watch.
America, but after the election results, I concede.
Never mind, this election is ours because of a ballot harvesting operation that would make Stalin blush. Now I'll tell you the history of how we changed election laws to steal your country from you and then destroy it.
It all changed in 2016 with California Assembly Bill 1921. All in favor to change election laws to turn California into a Latin American style hellhole? Before 2016, vote by mail was heavily restricted. Only family or household members could mail grandma's ballot. But after 2016, anyone could return anyone's ballot.
Hey, scrotum face, only we will be filling out grandma's ballot now.
And the best part, now we could provide drug addicts.
Here's your ballot, and here's your crack pipe.
Schizos, get away! I don't want it! And shit for brains dementia patients with ballots to fill out.
Hit subscribe on History Dad's profile page to see part 2 and all of his subscriber-only videos. We'll expose my party's sick plans to ruin this country.
I'm sorry. That last part was funny. Oh, I figured out Karen's motive. Let's see.
You guys, I figured out the Karen antidote. So my husband and I have traveled almost everywhere throughout Texas, and we have never encountered one Karen until we got to Austin, and it was 3 separate incidences. So now I'm just pretending I'm a French tourist for the FIFA Cup, because we had one come up to us, like that Karen haircut thing, acting like, you know, we shouldn't be smoking outside in public on the streets. And so my husband's like, oh, okay, like, you know, well, we're kind of far away from people. And I just started a French accent and I go, oh, are you one of those Karens we've seen online? Like the Americans call Karens, but I thought it was fake. I'm like, but look at you with the Karen haircut. I'm like, are you from California? And she's like, well, yeah, but like, you know, I was just
Do you really have any Karens down in Texas? I didn't think you had any.
I'm like, when you come to Europe, do you do the like there too, or you know, afford Europe, right? And so she's like, oh, I thought you guys were speaking English, you know, because like in America, we it's rude to smoke out in like public, right? I'm like, I have heard about you. I'm like, Texans, they're so friendly. I'm like, I knew you were a California transplant. And so I was like telling her that everything I read online about Karens is exactly what I saw in her, and she got so embarrassed. She didn't know what to do. And then she pretty much said, I thought you guys were speaking English and you were from here, and then just walked away. So to anybody out there, if you ever encounter a Karen, pretend you're a tourist from like Europe and just lay into them, because they literally think Europeans are more cultured and above everybody in North America. So if a European calls her a Karen, all of a sudden it clicked into her own behavior, because they don't behave like that when they go to Europe. So anyway, the antidote, pretend you're a European, put on an accent, and then just call them out.
She's from Canada, by the way. All right, white lives matter. Watch this. That's the cops. This is England, and that's the cops, I guess. Austin is full of them, huh? Wow. Yeah, that's the capital, though, right? That's why. All right, here's another incident, and this is even worse in England.
Marie, come out the way, lads. Come out the way. Get on the fucking ground now! Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground now! Get on the fucking ground now!
Oh, there isn't the one with the neck thing. There's one where they look like they broke his neck. I don't have the right one.
Fuck.
See if I can find him.
I wanted my phone out when he was getting in my fucking rod. I wanted to video it.
Maybe it was this one. Let me see if this is it.
So this is the scene where UK remigration activist Young Bob is attacked and beaten by, quote, gang of foreigners.
This is the illegals beating up a person there. They think it's fun, actually.
Unbelievable.
Oh my god.
It's barely staggering.
Yeah. Look, this isn't just random thuggery. It's political intimidation designed to scare anyone off with the wrong opinions. Every time we let it slide, the no-go zones for debate get bigger. Time to stop pretending that these people are fellow citizens acting in good faith. Young Bob is out here actually debating the failures of open borders and mass migration, and the response from the other side is immediate violence. They can't win the argument, so they try to beat it out of you. This 17-year-old has more balls than most grown men in that country right now. Drop your thoughts on this situation in the comment section.
They're trying to silence you.
Keir Starmer has decided that the best way to tackle the huge amounts of criticism he gets on social media is just to ban it. He's decided he's going to ban social media access for under 16s. Very strange when you consider that his Labour government,
except for Blue Sky, they can go on Blue Sky,
are also determined to let 16-year-olds vote in elections. They want teenagers to vote, but not to have access to online resources that will enable them to make an informed decision. Classic bit of Labour logic, that. But don't worry, the one social media platform Labour aren't banning for under 16s is Blue Sky. You know, the super woke left-wing platform frequented by nonces and groomers, almost as if Labour are trying to restrict young people's access to facts, statistics and verifiable information so that they can be more effectively indoctrinated with socialist crap. But surely not. They wouldn't stoop that low, would they? Well, yes, they would stoop that low and even lower. But don't worry, it's all about keeping children safe. I mean, they're not so worried about keeping children safe that they'll stop the incessant arrival of violent criminals from the third world into our country, are they? No, it's nothing to do with kids' safety, of course. It's about keeping us all compliant here on Prison Island. You will only have access to state-approved information. You will only be able to engage in government-authorised conversation. Your thoughts must be closely monitored at all times, comrades. It's not censorship. It's not authoritarianism. It's for your own good. It's about keeping you...
Reminds me of 1984, the movie.
Safe from yourselves and your dangerous ideas. We must keep you safe from noticing what's going on around you and questioning it out loud. The globalist left have been brainwashing your kids into their...
You can't know the truth.
Pedo cult for decades now, but social media is undoing all the programming. How on earth are the left supposed to keep turning generations of young people into compliant sheep that will happily participate in their own destruction if social media keeps giving them access to the truth about what's happening in this country? Labour can't have that, can they? And so they continue down their path of crippling taxation and heavy-handed censorship. I mean, it feels a lot like Stalinist totalitarianism, but probably best not to complain, not unless you want to get battered by the police and chucked in prison. I'm now on tour with my all-new stand-up show, Andrew Lawrence, so write this video. Please do like and subscribe and support me on Patreon so that...
To the Western leaders, your time is up. Your borders are fading. Your disease is being sucked out, and the unity of the Islamic Brotherhood is taking form. The Sons of Islam have already pledged that this battle is a battle of either victory or martyrdom. We eject your flags, and the call for jihad has started, and it won't be long before it is you that will be feasted upon.
I'm not here to tell a story, I'm here to rule. Fucking rule.
To rule?
I'm here to rule. To rule you, to rule Trump, to rule Elon Musk, to rule Netanyahu, to rule Jews.
Okay.
Yep.
There has been veterans who have been setting up OPs, which is observational posts, around the UK, monitoring hotels and certain military establishments. Okay, so retired old bases, old MOD sites, etc. Now, there has been a lot of activity going on in some of these areas. And when I looked at the videos, I couldn't believe it, because it's been speculation up until now, personally, that the UN are here and are working closely with, should we say, the influx of people into the UK. Now,
Yes,
I have seen personally on video, okay, when the OPs have been set up, they've zoomed in and they've recorded information, and when you see, there's a myriad of containers, okay,
Tammy, that was Omar, but she was speaking in her own language. Someone dubbed the English in for what she was saying. That was what she was actually saying, though.
Boxes, parcels, packages, boxes, whatever you want to call them, with the words UN stenciled on the side of them, being loaded into these.
It was her. I seen another clip of that, and then someone added these other ones to it. And they had taken the subtitles, which were in English, and then they put the English, dubbed the English in there. And that's actually what she was saying in one of her speeches to the Somalian people, not thinking that we would ever see it.
Okay, don't forget all of these places are being monitored by veterans within the UK. And
she really is saying in some of her speeches to them that they're going to conquer America. They're going to come here, invade like they are, and take over America.
And obviously all of this is anonymous.
Did you ever notice that when they get off these boats, it's mostly, and coming into the country, it's mostly illegals coming in are fighting age men. Fighting age men, that's what it is. It's terrible. Here's some more on censoring.
Free speech is under attack across the whole first world. Here in America, a lady was arrested in Trinidad, Texas, after the city didn't like her Facebook post about the city's horrendous water situation. Across the pond.
So you can get arrested for posting against your government?
Tommy Robinson, who's fighting to save England's women from migrant rape gangs, was detained at Heathrow Airport over the weekend. He was held under Section 3 of their Counterterrorism and Border Security Act for trying to
he's a terrorist.
Save the women of his country from foreign invaders. Anti-trans activist Billboard Chris was arrested in Madrid for talking to people in a public square. Apparently, if you're trying to stop kids from being sterilized and mutilated, that's a bad thing in Spain. Water cannons are being used in Belfast on protesters who are upset that a migrant tried to behead a special needs man. Meanwhile, there's nothing but hugs for Antifa and raping migrants who run around stabbing people. This is only going to get worse. Here in America, electing Donald Trump was only the first step in securing our constitutional rights. The Biden free speech suppression machine may have taken a backseat for now, but really it's just in the shop getting a tune-up. If they ever gain power again, you can expect it to be even worse than it was the last time. This year's congressional midterms and Senate races and gubernatorial races are very, very important. Please do not take it lightly, and whatever you do, please don't sit this out.
Okay, here's a little humor.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
See some of the people that are supposedly wishing him a happy birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Daddy Trump. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Trump.
Happy 80th birthday.
You make America great.
Yes, happy birthday to you.
And now into the cake.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Not the cake.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Trump,
happy birthday to you. Yay! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Trump! Greatest president of all time!
Happy birthday, Trump!
There's a little more humor. See if you can tell who this is supposed to be. Can anyone guess? Big Mike?
What do you think about LGBT pride parades?
They're not pride parades anymore. It's a public celebration of mental illness and degeneracy. Grown men in thongs twerking in front of kids. That's not love. That's sick.
I just died on your arms tonight.
Okay, back to Starmer and his social media banning of stuff. Except for Blue Sky. You can go on Blue Sky.
Now, turning to social media, and can I say how great it is to see so many people here who played such a key role in the consultation. And, you know, some people are dismissive of processes like this, but policymaking that doesn't listen very carefully to the voices of those it seeks to serve, that is not how this government carries out its business. And so I just want to thank you for the role that you have all played. And indeed, I
don't understand why the judges are going along with this. They got to be more liberal than they are even here.
Thank all the people who have campaigned so courageously on this issue, including those who have done so after suffering terrible tragedy or loss. Thank you. because today is a big moment for our country. This is a big step, real change for our children and our future. Because today I can announce that the government will ban access to social media for all children under the age of 16.
Except for Blue Sky. They can do Blue Sky. Okay, now, since the EU, the European Union, they're now starting to fine countries that won't accept more illegals. They're giving them quotas of how many illegals they have to accept into their country. Otherwise, they're fined. Watch this.
Did President Trump actually save America? Because the final destruction of Europe has begun. This week, actually. The EU migration pact that I spoke about just went into full force, and every European country is now legally required to accept migrants or pay fines of 20,000 euros per rejected person. Every national protection that was already in place has now been bypassed. It basically took the door off the hinges. And people are asking why. Why do they keep doing this? Well, there's 4 reasons, and there's one excuse they use. One is demographic engineering. You break up the populations that historically resist centralized control. And 2, civilizational replacement, Western Christian identity, faith, family, tradition. It's the one thing that produces populations that can resist control. Number 3, political capture. Import populations, depending on government services. Of course, they vote for whoever keeps the checks coming, right? Number 4 is supranational control. The EU is using migration to override national sovereignty permanently. Accept the migrants or pay the fines. Either way, Brussels wins. And the excuse they use is corporate labor supply. Because birth rates are collapsing. They need cheap labor to keep the economy propped up. Bullshit. The countries fighting back the hardest are Hungary, Poland, and Czech Republic. They said no. They're refusing to take anyone. People have been saying for years, hey, go see Eastern Europe while it still looks like Europe. And I say too, go now, because as of this week, the clock started and the pressure on those last holdouts just got very real. Now here's where America's different. This is what I want you to understand. And for how long? You know, President Trump closed the border. Love him or hate him, he did the right thing. And he pulled the United States out of 66 globalist organizations like the WHO, the UN's 2030 Agenda, and the World Trade Organization funding was also paused. 66 organizations that were being used to pull America into the same framework that's swallowing Europe whole. He cut the strings. That bought us some time. But here's the reality, though, however. He won't be there forever. No one person is a permanent solution. The moment the wrong people get back into power, federal, state, or local, those strings can get reattached fast. The only permanent protection is local. And here's what most people don't even realize. You don't have to fight immigration directly. You don't have to show up with signs or argue policy on social media. You just need to use the law, because the law already works, but only when someone who understands it is sitting in the right seat. The federal government can't just commandeer a hotel in your town and turn it into a migrant shelter if the zoning doesn't allow it, right? They can't convert a building without the right land use permits. And they can't bypass a
Seems like the big powerful always find a way around it.
certificate of occupancy either. And these are local mechanisms, and they work. And here's the proof. All right. In Rockland County, New York, local officials fought back when New York City tried to bus over 300 migrants to a hotel in their community. They went to court. They showed the judge photos of the hotel being converted. Beds were being installed, supplies were being moved in. And the judge, what did he do? He issued a restraining order. The plan was blocked. A local community using zoning law and land use permits won.
But they got into New York anyways.
And in California, where the state itself has sanctuary laws protecting illegal immigrants, cities like Los Alamitos voted to opt out. Carlsbad voted 4-1 to side with the federal government against their own state sanctuary policies. So it can happen. Local elected officials made those calls. Local seats made those decisions. So here's what this comes down to in the end. Trump pulled us out of 66 organizations. And to make that stick, we need people in power at every level who hold that line. And we need it embedded in our counties, in our town halls, in our city councils, so deep that no federal administration can circumvent it. And if they try, we use the laws of this nation against that, because those laws are being upheld right now all across the country. But the only way that happens is if the right people are sitting in those seats, not politicians, citizen servant leaders, people who know their community, who know the mechanisms and know how to use them. That's what TAB is all about. Take America Back has members in just about every state now, appearing steadily in every county as we move forward, training everyday citizens to find those seats and win. We've already placed over 50 people in local government now. 50 ordinary citizens who just showed up, and every single one of them is changing something real. If you can do it, get in, get trained, find your seat on our free seat finder at jointab.us. And if you're not there yet, support the people who are ready to go right now, because there are citizens.
Exactly, John. They want an upper class and a lower class. They don't want a middle class because they can't control the middle class that easily. They can control the lower class very easily.
All over this country who just want to fight, but they don't know how.
You're right, John.
But with your financial support of just $6 a month, we can help put them in that room. In the end, the family is the solution. The community is the solution, and citizens are the solution. This isn't politics anymore. This is our country. And guess what? Nobody's coming to save it but us.
Yep. This is how easy it is to school for patriots to school liberals.
You don't build a ballroom if you're planning on leaving.
Okay, then you don't rebuild the entire White House if you plan on leaving. Oh, wait, Madison and Monroe did that. You don't build the West Wing if you plan on leaving. Oh, wait, no, Roosevelt did that. You don't rebuild the roof and add a whole third floor if you plan on leaving. Oh, wait, no, Coolidge did that. You don't gut the entire interior if you plan on leaving. Oh, wait, no, Truman did that. You don't build the Oval Office if you plan on leaving. Oh, wait, no, FDR did that. You don't install a bowling alley if you plan on leaving. Nope, Nixon did that. You don't add a pool if you plan on leaving. Now, wait, Ford did that. You don't install a basketball court if you plan on leaving. No, wait, Obama did that. Like, dude, stop. You sound ridiculous. Presidents over the years have renovated, torn down, rebuilt, created new, so many things at the White House. And not to mention, this is something Trump wanted to do long before he was even president. He offered President Obama $100 million to build a ballroom. He wanted the White House to have a ballroom a decade before he even thought about politics. And he was willing to pay for it out of his own pocket. Like I said, he offered $100 million to Obama and pledged to raise $150 million from his fellow rich people. Obama said no. So he was willing to pay for a fucking ballroom a decade before he was even considering being president. Fucking stop, dude.
All right, here's Democratic Pride Month versus Patriot Pride Month.
God bless America, and gentlemen, start your
Right there with the fireworks, that's what was happening when Antifa came in and attacked us all with the PVC pipe. (2020) And in 2021 is when I had my stroke because of my dysarrhythmia. All right, here's a Don Wootton. It seemed pretty good. I watched a little bit of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, and he was talking about what's going on in Britain here.
The MSM just wants you to move on. Forget Henry Novak. Just forget him. Forget the attempted beheading of Stephen Ogilvy. Forget the Ukrainian models who firebombed Slippery Starmer's house. And Car 2. For a reason that apparently we're never going to be told other than it was all Russia's fault. Instead, let's talk about ludicrous, anti-free speech social media bans and tittle-tattle about Andy Burnham instead. But the British public has said no to that, with massive crowds flooding the streets in towns and cities across the UK, including Brighton, Sheffield, Liverpool, and Glasgow, demanding an end to mass migration because the British Revolution has begun. When patriots were allowed to express our cold rage, it was peaceful. Here are the scenes in Southampton where Henry was killed by that Sikh scumbag. Watch.
Deportation! 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 Deportation!
There were equally large crowds in Liverpool. In Scotland, Mario ZNA reported chaos on the streets of Glasgow. Police clash with young patriots protesting against mass migration. Meanwhile, pro-migrant and woke groups are also holding demonstrations. Watch. But what this revolutionary weekend showed once and for all is that leftists, and I'm so sad to say this, but the police too, now view protesting British patriots as the enemy. There has been a succession of horrifying incidents that have been ignored by the MSM but captured by brave independent and citizen journalists. DP audits reported that tension heightened in Liverpool as the police got weapons out against the patriots. Watch.
Look at this detective fucking nonsense. You're the victim. You're the victim.
But unfortunately, it got worse. There were also police attacks on patriots, with huge concern about this incident in Sheffield, as reports emerged that police had threw a protester to the ground, knocking him unconscious. Watch.
This is not too out.
That's what you get these days for wearing a Union Jack flag. The distressing scenes didn't stop there, as Right Angle News reported UK police now lashing out against Indigenous British people, with videos showing officers assaulting already detained British men and manhandling 5-year-old children. in ways they never treat foreigners. Watch this.
Oi! I'm going to get the child. You're all on camera, mate. You're all on camera.
Ground zero of the confrontation was the heart of left-wing England, where there were standoffs in Brighton between Stop the Boats and Antifa outside the train station.
So here we are, people. We're at the front now. We managed to make it through. Just British transport police are on the scene.
But it got worse, with Kiara Dis reporting on a clear display of two-tier policing in Brighton as patriots were placed in a vulnerable position inside a tunnel. The missiles being thrown from the far left were being ignored by the police, whereas the protection for our people, where are the arrests? Good question. Watch.
Sorry, son. Sorry, mate. Sorry, folks, we're getting peppered by fucking missiles. Share the protest, you get the evidence, gather us. I'd like to see the arrest being made after today and identify these individuals by classes, bricks, whatever they're throwing.
But in truly shocking footage that shames the British left, the mother of Rhiannon White and friend of this show, Siobhan White, was ruthlessly bulldozed onto the floor by the police while counter-protesters said that her daughter, who was murdered by an illegal migrant, deserved it. Watch.
You just went my daughter. There. Car. What are they saying? No. Oi! You're right. Do you know her fucking daughter was murdered 23 times in the brain with a screwdriver? You fucking disgust me. That was disgusting. They're shouting Rhiannon White deserves it. This is Rhiannon White's mother.
I just can't believe it. Siobhan will be here to respond live shortly, but she wrote on X following that incident. So this is how Brighton lefties and police think it's okay to abuse myself and my daughters, then say my daughter Rhiannon deserved to die at the hands of an illegal migrant. What do the police do? Fuck me onto the floor, but not allowed to incite violence. Clowns. There was some levity.
Like I was typing, it's becoming a boiling point, and it's they're causing it because they're trying to censor the truth from coming out.
In truly incredible scenes, an elderly protester mowed into police with her mobility scooter, resulting in her tipping over. Watch. At points, those crowds were chanting for Tommy Robinson. Watch. But Tommy, on having seen this video, asked, "Where is our freedom of movement?" The crowd chant the police who have blocked in Patriots because of far-left agitators blocking the road. This is what he was referring to.
We want a march! 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 We're on freedom of movement! We're not in
The irony, of course, is that at that exact moment, Tommy Robinson arrived back into the UK, where he was immediately arrested by UK police under terrorism legislation, with his devices seized once more. He announced on X, "I'm a terrorist again. I have been detained at Heathrow Airport today for the best part of 3 hours. I was detained under Section 3 of the Counter-Terrorism and Border Security Act 2019. My phone has been seized by the police. So here we go again. Looks like more defense and more court fees, FFS, absolute fucking madness." The Metropolitan Police soon followed up with this statement. Officers stopped a man in his 40s at Heathrow Airport at around 5 p.m. on Saturday, the 13th of June, following his return to the UK from Russia via Turkey.
They know who the hell he is. God. And terrorists with what group? He's not with some Islamic group.
He was stopped under the provisions of Schedule 3 of the Counter-Terrorism and Border Security Act 2019. The man was interviewed by officers and his communication devices were seized. He was subsequently released. That prompted the legendary comedian John Cleese to ask with tongue firmly in cheek, did he stab someone? And Elon Musk, the world's richest man, answered, no, he used words that the pro-stabbing politicians didn't like. And speaking of politicians, there was another revolution happening this weekend, arguably one that is just important. The Restore Britain revolution, where ground zero was not Brighton, but Makerfield, ahead of Thursday's historic by-election. And the Daily Mail has literally gone mental over Restore Britain. They have lost their mind, suggesting that this patriotic party led by Rupert Lowe is now, look at this, the new home for neo-Nazis. This is nuts. I don't think it is going to work. And Rupert is actually in some ways enjoying the Streisand effect, posting, the Daily Mail had dedicated their entire Sunday front page to some bullshit hit piece about how a handful of Restore Britain activists attended some deportation conference. They are terrified. Why? We are winning. So what's the proof? What is the proof of the Daily Mail saying patriots who I know very well, you know, like Orla Minihane and Rupert Lowe and Charlie Dowles and Harrison Pitt are neo-Nazis. So their proof is patriotic teenagers like the online sensation Angloid. And he wasn't taking it lying down either.
Fuck the Daily Mail. They've just made a hit piece about me, calling me all these mad names without any proof, putting all these mad pictures up of me.
The name call on the
saying
left.
my real name, which is kind of out there already. But fuck the Daily Mail. Look at these ugly journalists as well. I mug these people to death. Stop making fucking articles about me and shut the fuck up, you irrelevant freaks.
In Makerfield, the scenes were astonishing, with Lawrence Fox exclaiming, Restore Britain is exploding. Perhaps we have reached the moment where people realise that we are staring into a civilization abyss and that action rather than thoughts and prayers is what will save us. Perhaps Reform UK should ask themselves why Restore Britain is surging in popularity. Andrew Bridgen, former Tory MP, added, the sustained attacks on Restore Britain by the MSM led by the Daily Mail tells you all you need to know about the way the Uni Party is panicking over the Makerfield by-election. Makerfield is just the launch pad for a national movement through Restore Britain to wrestle control of our country back from the useless elites who have had control for far too long, and they know it. So I just want to show you these extraordinary scenes, because remember, for a long time, people in Reform UK and the MSM have been saying, oh, Restore Britain is just a bunch of bots, just a bunch of online right bots. Well, all I'm saying is it didn't look like it in Makerfield over the weekend. And there was a whole load of love for Rupert Lowe.
Right. No. Good morning, everybody.
Even the Mail's columnist Dan Hodges, who we just saw in the background of that shot, admitted, one thing that struck me, being out on the doorsteps or high street with Rupert Lowe today, Nigel Farage is wrong. People do know who Lowe is. Not entirely sure how, but it was surprising how many people were coming up to him unprompted. It's certainly a different impression to the trouble that Nigel Farage seems to be feeling so deeply at the moment.
The problem with it, I do not believe for a moment it will last.
Do you want to be Prime Minister?
Do you know something, Nick? Not for the sake of the office or the title, because I couldn't give a damn about that. Most people here would not recognise a photograph of him. Right? This is stuff that pops up on their phones. That has been the problem with it.
I would have said, I want to fix this country.
I do not believe for a moment it will last.
The Mail on Sunday wrote this. Anyone who really cares about Britain won't vote Restore. Now,
Marianne, I played a little bit of that too. I coached it briefly. They had a club thing down at my softball team during the off season. We played a little bit of dodgeball, and they had to play against the men's a lot. Men's. We did okay. We won over half our games.
I am done with this gaslighting. I don't know about you, but do you remember just 2
dodgeball
years
was a
ago,
lot of fun, though,
at the general election when the Daily Mail was saying anyone who votes for Reform UK doesn't care about Britain?
It is a lot of fun.
We are done.
They cheat
being
a little
told
bit
by mainstream gatekeepers who our vote should go to. This vote is ours. And people like Katie Hopkins, I think, have more impact now than the
Well,
Mail
you
on
try to catch
Sunday.
them then. You try to catch the ball.
Think about the fact
John,
that
you
this
try to
is
catch
an
one.
alternative political party that you don't have to vote with what your nose held. Many of us would never vote for Nadeem Zahawi because he's a monster.
Colin,
He
what do you
forced
think of what they're
vaccines into
saying?
Children. Many of us could never honestly give a vote to Zia or Lee because we know how they treat.
Well, I hitting buttons that stopping them? Okay, I was trying to tell you.
This is a political party you can vote with your heart. And that's what matters. It's a party you can actually believe in. And I leave you with this. When a man stands at his own farm gate and tells you quietly what he's going to do, then believe me, he will do that. And he'll probably even do
Yeah, we
it
did
on
for like 2
John
or 3
Deere.
years.
Well done to Rupert. Well done to Ben. And well done to all the brilliant people who know that they finally found something they can believe
Roll
in.
across shoulder. Wow, that's
with
tough.
Restore.
Yeah. You can when you dive on
But
the
a man
floor.
that no Brits can believe in is Slippery Starmer, who, while the disunited kingdom was tearing itself apart on the streets during the weekend, attended Trooping the Colour with his poor, miserable, estranged wife, Lady Victoria, someone who's already checked out by leaving Downing Street with her children. Now, that was an event that the anti-monarchist Prime Minister no doubt would have despised, and indeed, I mean, I think you can see that. by his expression.
There's one guy in the dodgeball, he'd get down on his knees and always just try to catch everything. He would always stay on his knees so he wouldn't get hit down in the legs.
But perhaps his mind was occupied with the trial of the Ukrainian firebombing models who targeted his property and car, a story I have been covering in depth. But as I have told you, we still don't know the truth about, despite two of those models being found guilty today of setting fire to his home and to his car. The British bashing corporation now want us to believe this is all about Russia. It's just about Russia. There is nothing else to see here. We don't need to ask about how they knew where Starmer lived. We don't need to ask about how they knew where Starmer's car was. Just forget all of that and blame Russia. Ukrainian national Roman Lavronovich, 22, Ukrainian-born Romanian national Stanislav Kashapik, 27, convicted by a jury at the Old Bailey. But here's how Tommy Robinson reacted to the news. By coincidence, that Starmer is banning social media for under 16s. The Ukrainian and Romanian models have been found guilty of setting fire to Starmer's home and car. Why did they do it? How did they know where his property was?
When you're saying football, you mean soccer, right?
To care, Starmer.
Soccer,
yes,
football?
What have you been up to, Slippery?
Not American football.
What else have you done that's made your poor, poor wife so unhappy on a day as beautiful as Trooping the Colour? But it's not just his wife who's miserable, it's also Britain.
What's Starmer's wife like? I don't see much of her. Is she really the same as him, or is she better or worse? What?
Children, as the out-of-control authoritarian banned social media for under 16s, all under the guise of safety. But we know what this is all about. It is just another step towards his overall mission of eliminating all free speech in Britain. And I have to say, these very unimpressed children captured the mood of Starmer's nation. Watch.
Please put your hands up, those of you who welcome the ban. Hands up for those who welcome the ban. So this just gives you an idea. I think it's pretty fair to say that most of these students there, 11 to 14, most are pretty disappointed with the ban. Let's just come over to you, Isabella. Tell me how you felt when you heard the Prime Minister say no more social media for you.
I didn't think it would actually happen. I kind of believed that he'd chicken out of it and give it more time or more consideration, but he seems pretty sure of it, and I'm not sure if I agree with him.
What are you most worried about?
Not being able to contact my friends. I don't know what will happen and how it will happen, or whether if there's some technicalities to what apps are restricted, but I use most of my social media to contact my parents and family.
I mean, I think it's worth reminding people. Earlier, we looked at screen time. What was your screen time over the weekend?
9 hours.
9 hours. So suddenly you're going to have a lot more time to fill. And what will you do?
Stare at a wall.
That's what Starmer will be doing.
Well, for a kid, 9 hours on social media is kind of a long time. You know, they should be out doing athletics. They don't do as much as they used to.
Doing soon enough. But the cold hard truth is that there is no time to waste staring at a wall when we have a country that is at the precipice of no return and breaking right now in another example of shocking leftist abuse. I can reveal that the activist young Bob has just been attacked by leftists. He has posted this picture showing his shocking injuries and has just revealed, I have been checked over by an ambulance after a group of foreign lads came up behind me while I was doing a debate stand, dragged me to the ground and kicked and punched me. I passed out halfway through and I don't remember everything that happened. From what I can recall, it started while I was sitting down and they took some of my equipment during the assault. The police arrived about 5 minutes after the assault, recovering as much as they could. One of my cameras exploded when they tried to seize it or steal it. Instead of running away with it, they destroyed it, causing the battery to explode. However, I have the SD card and we'll be checking whether the footage is still there so they can identify what actually happened. Members from Stand Up to Racism were counter-protesting and they were egging them on and filming
Stand Up to Racism are the racist.
it. The police did nothing to stop the counter-protesters or retrieve the footage to see what actually happened. Are we going to the hospital now?
He's lucky he didn't get arrested.
As I have a cut and a number of marks on my neck, bruises on my face and the top of my head, and cuts running down my back.
He could have been seriously injured.
And he added, after posting that, and this is literally just in the past few moments, I'm learning self-defense, but in that situation, all I could do was curl up into a ball and protect myself. I couldn't see exactly how many people there were, but it was enough for me to be hit from multiple sides while they were also taking my belongings. The best thing I could do was protect my head, but even then I ended up with bruising. In terms of security, I'm now trying to build up a trusted team around me so that I have support at these events. Looking back, I was naive to think I could keep doing this without it. It is a real eye-opener when you find yourself in a situation where a crowd is encouraging the people attacking you rather than trying to stop it. And as I say, this is all just breaking at the moment, but young Bob has just been provided with some footage of this attack. This is the first time I'm seeing this, so let's watch it together, and hopefully it isn't too disturbing.
Well, this is one from earlier. I'll bet you money that not one of those kids gets in trouble. Not one.
Okay. Oh my God.
And they use it more than their hands to hit him.
So, and then we see young Bob just lying on the street. Good Lord. Good Lord. Okay. Well, I really hope he's okay. And this does show you the terrible times we're in. Now, the superstar panel.
White people didn't invent slavery.
Listen very carefully.
In fact, they were the first to end it. Yet somehow, saying this is controversial. Watch what happens when someone says it out loud.
The reason there is no slavery in the world today, I mean, there's a lot of slavery in the world today, but in the parts of the world where there's no slavery, is because the British Empire ended it. That's why there is no slavery. That is... Well, look, the fact that you are uneducated about history doesn't mean it's funny. So let me educate you now. Let me educate you now. I know that the woke narrative and the anti-Western narrative on slavery... Well, you're not practicing free speech very well, are you? You're not practicing free speech very well, are you? The moment I say something you don't like, you're not practicing...
Let's be clear. Slavery is evil, but it's an ancient human evil practiced by everyone to everyone. 4 years ago, I went to Ghana. I stood in a slave dungeon where people who looked like me sold people who looked like me to white people. But long before Europeans began the transatlantic slave trade, there was a trans-Saharan slave trade. For over 1,000 years, brown Arab slavers sold millions of black Africans across the Sahara. Then came the Barbary slave trade. In North Africa, Arab and African raiders captured and sold over 1 million white Christian Europeans. China, Korea, Japan, India, every one of them practiced slavery. Europeans did take slavery to another scale when they came to Africa. But it's not because they were more evil. It's because they had the technology to commit evil on an industrial scale. So, which major power stopped slavery first? The British, in large part because of pro-human Christian values. The same values America was founded on. The same values that drove white Americans to fight other white Americans to free black Americans in the Civil War. Values missing in places like Libya, where today you can buy a human being for $400. White people aren't better than anyone else, but they're also not worse. Yet, some black people are taught to hate white people, and many white people are taught to hate themselves. We keep pretending evil has a color, as if less melanin means less morality. That lie makes us ignore history and fuels racial hatred. Right now, much of that hatred is aimed at white people. But why should black or brown people
Glad to see some of them are waking up.
care? Because hatred is a hot coal that we hold in our hand, waiting to throw at another. It burns them, but it burns us too. It turns every problem into white supremacy.
Yep. So right. All right. Christians try to gather in the street to pray, and they get attacked. This one Christian is not going to have any part of it. Watch this. So this dude comes up and he starts spitting on him.
We looking for that
Well, I guess he found out what for, huh?
He wants to abolish billionaires from a beach chair on a vacation paid for by her father's long-lasting trust fund. You will always know where she is because her car tells you everything she believes. She believes in community safety, and the community is making her feel unsafe. She never finished her economics degree, but she knows that universal health care would fix the country. She once signed a petition to add a P to the LGBTQ acronym. It is unknown if she knew what the P was for. She has not thought about a single policy in years. She has thought about Donald Trump every single day since 2016. She loves Kamala with her whole heart and could not name one thing she has done. She wants to defund the police, yet calls them on the hoodlums skateboarding in her neighborhood. Her motto is, silence is violence, which is why she posts immediately and reads about it later, if at all. She has recurring nightmares about being the most privileged person in the room. She will not support a brand that doesn't turn its Instagram logo rainbow in the month of June. This has been a tough month for her so far. She acknowledges this land was stolen, but get too close, too quick, and she may spray.
We all probably know a few like her. All right, just about the rape gangs.
Listen to the perpetrators and what they have quoted as they recited Quran 424 to their victims and told them Britain is an enemy of the Muslims because of their foreign policy in Iraq, etc. More than that, they said that
I agree,
we are
Marianne.
waging war against
White
you as
supremacy
women
stuff.
because sexual violence is very much a part of the warfare and part and parcel
There's,
of jihad.
8
But they also said we're
to
waging
10
war against
five
your
slaves there.
state, your government, to weaken your government through raping your women. This is an extension of modern day jihad. We've seen it play out in, if sexual violence is used in warfare all the time, but look at countries, especially like Pakistan, what they did with the genocide in Bangladesh. It was the same mentality that we saw play out here in the streets of Britain. They are verbatim quoting Islam, and the fact that the wider family networks were covering this up shows that there was religious justification and moral justification behind it, because they were operating like full-on terror networks to basically, for lack of a better word, sticking a huge middle finger up to the British state.
That's right.
Okay, so they wanted to take this white boy's motorcycle, so they ended up strangling him almost to death. It's his motorcycle. It's more than one, actually. They're stealing his bike. They almost killed him.
Right, guys, I've just had this brought to my attention. Seriously, Kev, who I know very well, is one of my good friends, who's just mentioned this in a space that we've just done on X.
This is the last
17-year-old
one.
girl in Arbroath has now been raped by a gang of between
I should be on tomorrow at 5. That's the game plan, anyways. We'll see if it goes to plan with Pulma for Trump.
4 or 5 illegal migrants outside the train station. Now, this is early hours of like Monday morning, late Sunday night. And yet again, we are here talking about the same old shit. Yeah, this is getting beyond the joke. And it's also come to my attention that people put in the comments that they've been told by the police, witnesses have been told not to publish this on social media. Well, here we go. I want you to spread it far and wide. Illegal asylum seekers, illegal migrants, whatever you want to call them, they're all the same, have raped between 4 and 5, have gang raped a young 17-year-old girl in Abrove. This is absolutely disgusting. Please spread this far and wide. Honestly, when does this end? When does this end ever? It's like becoming beyond the joke now.
It ends when we replace them. We have to replace them. We have to vote every one of them out. Take care, everyone. God bless. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.